Hello everyone, how are we all doing to Hello everyone, how are we all doing today? I hope we are all doing great. This is one of the very interesting sessions we have planned for you today. I'm looking at the charts and I'm seeing some of our guests introducing themselves. Hello Gabriel, hello Chunwe, hello HM. Hello, Nuruddin. Yeah, Nuruddin, my friend. I hope you all are doing great today. All right. Apologies for the intro time. Well, we'll be starting this session right now. Before I go ahead, let me kindly or humbly introduce myself. My name is Promise Uche Nwachukwu. I've been in this industry for quite a while. Let me say about 10 years running now. And, it's always been a thing for me to my knowledge whenever or whichever opportunity I get. But today, it's going to be one of our leaders in the community discussing with you, right? So I will just go right ahead to introduce him. He's none other than Chiugo J Okpala. You can see he is a cloud technology professional for over 10 years, a cloud architect, passionate for cloud computing and knowledge sharing. Funny enough, he has his own YouTube channel and his Twitter page as well. So, kindly go over there, and do the usual. All right, at this point in time, I will be calling on Sachugo himself. Hello, Sachugo. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fine. Hi, Promise. Nice to have you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, nice to have you on the session today. I've been looking forward to this session to actually hear what you have for us today, and I know it promises
Yes.
to be something interesting. So, at this point in time, and right about now, I'll be giving you all the full screen to go ahead and give us and dish out what you have prepared for us to enjoy. All right, Sachugo, the table and the floor is yours.
Thank you. So, guys, it's a pleasure to be here. I'll be sharing part of the knowledge I shared last year, with the section we had then with how to run applications on AWS. So, today I'll be talking about um, data security in AWS, how that works. So a bit of a context about me. Like promised, the host mentioned, I'm J Okpala. I've been in the cloud industry for about 10 years, cloud professional. I started my cloud journey uh, when I was working at Microsoft then. And from there, transitioned, now adopted, working alongside using AWS. And yeah, also a cloud architect, currently working for a Dutch company, Skipper Group. My role involves working on designing solutions to be used in the cloud. And we use Azure Cloud as well as AWS Cloud, working on prototype design for different solutions and architecture. And then alongside with a team of stakeholders, rolling out this design and then do like a proof of concept as well as MVP, minimum viable product, and then rolling out the solution, which ranges from PaaS and ES solutions for the company. So I have a lot of passion for knowledge sharing as well as cloud computing. Um, like also where we get involved with helping people with their journey to the cloud and also how they can use more or know more or get more knowledge about the cloud and how that kind of impact the way they work or they want to improve their cloud knowledge in general or to upskill themselves and stuff like that. So I have a YouTube channel. So on C J Okpala, that's my YouTube channel, as well as a Twitter handle at C J Okpala. Yeah. So, like I said, we're talking about data security on AWS. So, in general, you might ask, why is it important to have a secure data? So, as an organization, you have applications running on the cloud, and you want a security. I mean, say for instance, the cloud is a public sphere where you rent servers, and AWS have your data, you have your content in a desolate cloud in one of the regions or in one of the data centers they run. And then there's a concern: what happens to your data there? Are they safe? Is it trustworthy to keep your data there? So because customer data are there, your legacy data are there, and some sensitive data, confidential data are also there. So and security is very paramount in the cloud age and also in the digital age. So the discussion for today is how AWS secures your data for you, for your organization, and how you can have a rest of mind in knowing that your content, your data at AWS data center cloud is safe based on your requirement, based on how you want the data. Because at the end of the day, your data is gold. Data is very important, and that data is what gives an organization a competitive advantage in the industry they work, as well as the how they model their business structure, and everything is based on data, the niche. So, earning customers' trust is foundation of business at AWS and also in general. If your customer can trust you, say, uh, you use okay, you run your application or move your content or use AWS cloud. There's already a trust there, and that comes from proving that we have with AWS you can run your application, or we can architect solutions to run applications and host your information and data. And that trust comes with having trust on how to protect clients' most critical and sensitive asset, which is the data. So AWS, as you know, is one of the biggest players in the cloud area, and this trust is earned by working closely with clients to understand their data protection needs. Most different organizations are work in different industries, and they are underpinned by regulation in form of regulatory body. In Europe, there's what they call the GDPR, so a regulation from the EU government on how organizations will hold data of individuals or they hold data of other individuals or parties. And so organizations, when they go to the AWS cloud, they come with its data protection needs and requirements of which AWS have to abide by. And by offering the most comprehensive set of services, tooling, and expertise to help them protect their data. So that's what AWS brings. And to understand first, what is the customer, where is the customer data, what is the customer data protection needs? How does the customer want this data to be protected? And that's something AWS does better. And that's where the trust comes about. So you might ask, how does AWS does this? So this is done by providing technical, operational, as well as contractual measures needed to protect customer data. So a guarantee that, uh, let's say you have a data and with you are running an application on AWS cloud, there's a warranty that this data of yours being hosted on one of the AWS regions or data center, there's a guarantee SLA on that. There's no data leakage, or there's this the privacy, all those kind of things, and protection on your data, and this is guaranteed with SLA you have with AWS, as well as the data protection needs in general. So with AWS, you manage the privacy controls of your data. So how you want this data to be revealed, to be exposed, the privacy in general. Uh, you can also control how your data is used, for what purpose, and for what needs, and where this data will be and how it will be accessed. So looking at, say, for instance, can somebody read the data? Can somebody have a right permission to the data or not? Or also, can somebody download the data? Say, for instance, you have AWS application, you have data storage, data on a storage account on AWS. How that data will be consumed? So you have like third-party organizations, or you have like organizations that works with your organization, and they will need your data from your AWS environment subscription. You might put some parameters in place. Say, for instance, you have authenticate. So do like an IAM, so identity access management, authenticate, and authorization. So when these control measures are met, then they can have access to it. And also parameter permissions protection mechanism could also be that the data, say they have a storage account they want to access, which kind of rights so can they read it? And also, when this data is being fetched or used, is it gonna go through like, for instance, shared access signature, conditional access, all those kind of things, extra layer on top of that. And then you could also configure monthly access reviews who still needs access to this data, and then you can do access review monthly to assess that. And for those who doesn't need access to the data, should have a deny access or not completely have access to the storage account in question. AWS underpins these capabilities with the most flexible and secure cloud computing environment available today. So yeah, so then when I get to the data controls and residency, using AWS, you can control your data by using powerful AWS services, like mentioned below, and tools to determine where your data is stored, how it is secured, and who has access to it. Services. And these services ranges from, say, the IAM, so the Identity and Access Management, the Cloud Trail, AWS Cloud Trail, and Amazon Nessie, also the AWS Cloud HSM, and the AWS Key Management Service KMS, and also the AWS Control Tower. So for us, the IAM so allows you to securely manage access to the AWS services and resources. So like I mentioned, the IAM, Identity Asset Management, is the highest layer, is the layer where you have to set or control who accesses what data. So permissions, access permission could be read access, contributor access, ownership access level, or there are also other access permission levels available. And then that way, people or individual, say for instance, individual user access, or say access in form of a shared managed account, or service principal, or devices, for instance. Uh, you can control this by yourself. And also with the AWS CrowdTrail and the Amazon Messi, it enables for compliance, detection, or auditing. Whereas the AWS Cloud HSM and AWS Key Management Services KMS allows you to securely generate and manage inscription keys. And then the AWS Control Tower provides governance and controls for data residency. So data privacy. So with AWS, there's often a continuous stride on privacy safeguards with services and features that lets you to implement your own privacy controls, and this includes with advanced access, encryption, and logging features. So, for instance, log analytics. So, who accesses time prints or the trail of who accesses what, when, from where, and which information was accessed. That way, you can now audit and control this the privacy of the data. Also, to make it easy to encrypt data in transit and at rest using keys, either managed by AWS or fully managed by your organization. Often know that you can also bring your own keys that will be generated and managed outside of AWS. So, for instance, if you want to encrypt data, so there are two ways you can encrypt data at rest or data in transit when the data is being going, it's being transferred. So also you can also do like for instance masking. So for instance, one part of the inscription could be you have one of the keys. So you have a key pairs, it's a generated key pairs, and one of the keys could be held by you, or the other keys could be held, or half of the key could be held by the person receiving the data. So when the key pairs matches, then he or she could see the content of the data, and that's inscription. That's the beauty of inscription. AWS implements consistent and scalable processes to manage privacy, including how data is collected, used, accessed, and stored, as well as being deleted. So, for instance, with deletion, there's something we call like a sub delete. So sub delete is like, say you deleted some, you have a storage account, or you have some information stored on a virtual machine or something like that, and then you deleted it, for instance. AWS will not completely delete this, but that will be stored or held temporarily for a couple of days or months, which is called self-delete. So that means maybe tomorrow or next you would like to access it again, and then this data is still available for you. There's also with, for instance, how data is being collected. For instance, they're like in the management plan within AWS, you can how you can fetch the data, how it's being used. For instance, on how is it, where is it going to be stored, and in what way will the data be consumed or accessed. There are different ways of storing data as well within AWS. So AWS provides a wide variety of best practice documents and training, as well as guidance that will be you can leverage to protect your data. And such of one of these are like the security pillar of AWS well architected framework. So, for instance, with data sovereignty, data sovereignty is a huge issue. For instance, in Europe, for instance, if all companies in Germany, all companies based in Germany, the government rule is that data will not be stored outside Germany. So it means that uh, uh, as an organization using AWS in Germany, your data must be hosted only in the data center within Germany. So that's the sovereignty, data sovereignty. So with AWS, you can choose to store your customer data in any one of more of the AWS regions around the globe. So AWS already have over 50 regions, where 50 regions, and these regions uh, uh, has data centers in it where you could store your data based on your needs and based on the data location needs or compliance purposes. So, for instance, and latency, for instance, you're a company based in Nigeria, uh, you could the best in terms of latency and ease of use is to store the data to the nearest data center around you. So you can also use AWS services with the confidence that customer data stays in the AWS region you select. So you could also, as an organization, do a policy mechanism that all data has been created or to be used should only be based in a specific region. So you have like a couple of developers, cloud develop, Azure engineer, AWS engineers, or any cloud engineer or cloud DevOps who needs to create resources. You could make a rule of thumb that using policies that those resources will only be created in a given region, and then you have then you that's and then you these policies comes like a guardrails in a landing zone from a subscription level, or you can do it on a subscription level or management group level, and that way you can be sure that your data sovereignty needs are met, not just being defined, but then they are being met and carried out. Because one of the biggest issues that if your data is not stored or not located in the sovereignty it is meant for, that puts financial consequences for the organizations, often with fines or uh, 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 reprimands to organization. So, for instance, a small number of AWS services involve the transfer of data, for example, to develop and improve those services where you can opt out of transfer or because transfer is an essential part of the services, such as content delivery services. Also, the AWS prohibits and the systems as well designed to prevent remote access by AWS personnel to customer data for any purposes. So, which includes, for instance, service maintenance, unless that access is requested by customer or unless access is required to prevent fraud or abuse or to comply with the law. So often, when working in the cloud, often we get like SLAs or needs that AWS rate an AWS support ticket, and this support ticket goes to one of the technicians to do some task for me, or I get some errors. So that is part of the SLA signed with AWS and my organization that none from AWS should have access or to access it only permitted or only for a purpose. So, for example, one of the purposes is to mitigate, so for instance, fraud, or the case of, say, for instance, there's a fraud prevention or abuse, or to comply with the law. So for another issue is that if another scenario is like say if AWS receives a law of a law enforcement request, they will challenge such a law enforcement request for customer data from governmental organization bodies where the request conflict with the law of abroad or where AWS otherwise have appropriate ground to do so. So it's often this AWS provides a biannual information request report describing the types of and number of information requests AWS receives by law enforcement. So, as you know, security is very crucial. So, within the cloud, within AWS, security is a shared responsibility between AWS and the customer. What that means, in practical sense, is that okay, you have a subscription with AWS to use one of to use and to create resources in the subscription you have received from AWS directly or via CSPs, so cloud solution providers. And the share responsibility is that okay, your data will be hosted in a data center hosted by AWS, and there's a guarantee that in that data center there's maximum security being put in place physically and otherwise in the system that the data there is safe. and cannot be leaked. The shared responsibility also means on your own side, the customer, that you for you to create resources in the cloud, in your AWS environment, you should have knowledge, adequate knowledge of personnel, experienced personnel to do things or to create things in the cloud. And that's the shared responsibilities. And also, often AWS comes with guide rails or advice, for instance, which ranges from to do patch ups, to do upgrades, and to do like or to use new features of resources. Often, services are being deprecated, and for you, you need to upgrade, do this on your own side. Only if, say, for instance, you're using like a CSP license, so the CSP cloud service provider will do this for yourself. So, for instance, financial service providers, healthcare providers, and government agencies are among the customers who trust and use AWS with some of their most sensitive information. And these sectors involve money movements, financial institutions, cash, financial figures, healthcare providers like hospitals or clinics, and government agencies. So you can improve your ability to meet core security and confidentiality and compliance requirements with AWS comprehensive services, whether that's through using the Amazon Guard Duty or using AWS Nitro system. So the underlying platform for AWS EC2 instance. So the AWS have designed the Nitro system to have workload confidentiality and no operator access. So how the system is being designed and put in place. So with the Nitro system, there's no mechanism for any system or person to log in to EC2 servers or read the memory of the EC2 instances or access any data stored on instance storage and encrypted EBS volumes. So, likewise, in addition, services such as AWS Cloud HSM and the key management services allow you to securely generate and manage inscription keys. And the AWS config and AWS CloudTrail deliver monitoring and logging capabilities for compliance and audits. So the I've used the CloudTrail and those config is quite a advanced tools on to have overall audit and monitoring on your cloud environment in terms of which who accesses which data and for which purpose and where this data has been going or used or called for. So the IAM, Identity and Access Management, uh, uh, you can specify who or what can access services and resources in AWS centrally managed fine-grained permissions and analyze access to refine permission across AWS. So here in the IAM, you apply for who can access and for what purpose. Who in terms of work users and workloads with IAM. So workload could be service principals, uh, apps, or individuals, so users. Uh, Permission with IAM policy. So the permission can access what? So read access, contributor access, or ownership access. So that's the different layers on the permissions being given. There are the reader access, contributor, and ownership are the three major, but there are more IAM in place for you to configure. You can also create your own permissions in place to have more granularity. For instance, uh, you have like a network, a colleague who has to do like networking related stuff. You can, or say for instance, you have a key somebody who needs to only work on a keyboard. You can give a keyboard contributor access, for instance. And the rule of thumb is that it goes on least privilege principle. So least privilege means you only give access, only give access, the only access individual needs to carry out his or his work. That means, for instance, if somebody needs to create a visual machine, you don't have to give him a ownership right, but only a contributor right. Or somebody needs to only uh, get cost information about resources being used on AWS. You only give him a cost reader access. He only can read. He just want to read. You don't have to give him a contributor access or ownership access. And also the level where this access is being applied. So is it on the subscription level? Is it on the resource group level? Or is it on the resource level? So you apply the IM on the lowest granularity. So if, for instance, somebody needs access to create a VM on a resource group, or you have to give it at the contributor access on the resource group level and not on the subscription level. So the AWS identity and access management, you can specify who or what can access services and resources in AWS centrally, manage fine-grained permissions, and analyze access to refine permission across AWS. So you have to set up and manage guardrails, and then uh, have a fine-grained approach to workflows and workloads. So, and that covers authorization and authentication. So you manage identities across single AWS accounts or centrally connect identities to multiple.
Sorry for that. Our speaker is having some network issues, but I'm sure he's about to fix that soon. So in the meantime, as you all know, I'd like everyone to pay close attention because at the end of this session, we'll be playing a game. Yes, so we're playing a game, and the winner of this game is gonna get a voucher. A voucher. So I hope everyone is really really paying attention to what the speaker is saying, because I mean, you don't want to come to this session and then miss out on this free voucher. All right. While our speaker is trying to sort out the network issues, basically he was just speaking about the importance of keeping your data secure in your AWS environment. Of course, your AWS has provided a platform that ensures that your your data is secure. But then at your end, you also have some other responsibilities to ensure that your data is always secure. For instance, um, if you have to upload some important data to AWS, and for some reason you uploaded it to a wrong site, or for some reason you let the data itself, be accessed by who is authorized to. In that case, you have exposed that data, and it's not going to be on AWS end to say, oh, okay, this has been done. What can we do about this? right? So what is very, very important is, in as much as AWS provides a secure environment for you to be able to secure your data, you also have a responsibility to protect your data as well. And I'm just going through um, some of the comments we are having in the channel, and I'm not actually seeing any question in particular relating to this. So I'm just going to throw the floor open. Does anyone have any questions so far regarding this topic that our speaker has started speaking on? Anyone? Anyone? Yeah, if you have a question, please don't hesitate to drop it in the channel, and we will try our possible best to see how we can provide answers to that. Yes, so I'll just give a couple of minutes while that is being done. All right, I see no one is asking questions. Okay, well, in some few minutes time, we'll be starting the quiz session in some few minutes time. Yes, in some few minutes time, we'll be starting the quiz session. Just waiting for a bit to see if the speaker comes on.
Yeah, I think Sachugo is back now. Sachugo, can you hear us? Hello, Sachugo,
Hello,
can you
sir.
hear us?
Okay. Okay, maybe I see a question here on the level of access. Please elaborate. Subscription slash resource level. Well, one of the beautiful things about this is that in every AWS environment, you can provide the access you want to provide to that particular resource. And it is always advisable to give the least, the minimum that is able to do the job. That is what you should always provide to whoever wants to access any form of resources or any form of resource. The reason being that, I mean, if you can categorically, you know, be able to achieve a task with the minimum permission given to you, then there's really, really no need, granting that person an excess amount of solution. Okay, so I don't know if I was able to, provide some clarity based on that question by Prabhaka Sandaram. Okay, all right. So maybe at this point we could play some games. What do you think? Maybe we should go back to the quiz. Just checking in if okay, he's back. Our lecturer for the day is back. Hello, sir
Yes, I'm
Chugo.
back. Yeah,
Yes,
how
you
you
can
doing?
go on. Yeah.
Yeah,
All right. I'm cool. Yeah. Please. Yeah.
yeah. So I had some connection issues. So what's the question? Like, can you reflect me the question?
Yes. So someone was asking what level of access. Please elaborate on
Okay.
subscription slash resource level access.
Okay, so there are three levels. So we have the subscription level, resource group level, and the resource level. So these are the three levels where you can apply identity and access management on AWS. So that means, for instance, if somebody only needs to use a resource or create a could be a storage account. This internet. So sorry, guys, I'm back. Some connection issue. So he or she needs only the reader access, contributor access, or ownership access on the resource group level. Or if he needs to create a resource group, the access, reader access, storage, contributor access, ownership access will be given. For instance, I will share my screen. So, like I mentioned, on the IAM level, so this IAM applies on the level, so the subscription level, resource group level, or resource level, and that's how you can apply it. And this is based on the principle of least privilege. So you only give the least access needed by the individual. So I hope that answers the question.
Yes, yes, I believe it does. Yes, I believe it does. So you can proceed now.
So any other question?
At this point, this is the only question I have here,
Okay.
relevant this session. But I mean, you can probably just round up before we have the quiz
Okay.
session.
Cool. Yeah. Um, So this is the. I've already finished. So just the like I said, something came up and I had to shorten my slide, like I told you, promise.
Yeah.
So yeah, so this is, but the slide is much bigger than it, but I had to shorten it out because I have an
Okay.
urgent need after this.
All
Yeah, it
right.
just happened today. So fortunate.
All right. No issues on that. We'll probably just proceed on the what's it called? We'll probably just proceed on
Quiz.
the quiz. Yes. Just a moment while I kickstart on that. Just a moment. All right. So I guess um, please go ahead and log into the quiz session. Go ahead and log into the quiz session. So that's the game pin there. So please, everyone, go ahead. Okay. I can see Abdul Latif is. Yeah, just go to. Okay, let me drop the link. Go to kahoot.com. Kahoot.com and to use the The game pin displayed above. Yeah, I see Harris, Ido, SP, Abdulatif. I remember the last session where Sir David was talking about those who make use of short name like SPs. Probably they won some one of the vouchers before, and now they're trying to see if they can get another one. But that's not an issue. Just go ahead, sign in, and if you've won before, well, we'll just and you actually make it to the top, we'll just give it to the next person after you. So please don't hesitate. Go on and join in the game. We are 18 of us here. Let me just say, yeah. So I'm still expecting more people to sign in. Yeah, okay. Welcome, Bolaji, Emmanuel, Danny, KP, Gabriel, yeah, Chinel, Harris, Ido, SP, Abdulatif. I'll just give one more minute for any other person who would like to join. I see we have just 12 of us here on the session. Okay, 13 of us here on the session. Yes, any other person joining? Okay. So I'm about to start this session. If you haven't joined, no issues. You probably join in the next one. All right. So we're about to start this one. All right. Which data is not used by guard duty to detect unusual and unexpected behavior? Time is counting. Time is counting. I can see we have three answers already. Okay, go on. Okay, I can see we have some interesting answers already. Now, this should be fun. Uh, Remaining one more person, I guess, or someone dropped out. Wow. So how many of us got that? Wow. Out of 13, I see that only two of us got cloud watch logs. It says which data is not used by guard duty to detect unusual and unexpected. So the answer is what? Cloud watch logs. I see people went for DNS logs. I wonder why. Maybe it's there could be some little confusion between. At least now you know the answer is cloud watch logs. Okay, so let's go on to the next one. Wow, I can see Abdulatif leading. Okay, let's go. Nice. Okay, which what captures and stores net traffic information in and out of network interfaces from instances within your VPC? DNS query logs, CloudTrail logs, VPC flow logs, CloudWatch logs. Wow, I see a lot of people turning up and actually giving nice answers. Let's see who is going to get it right this time around. I see Abdulatif won the last time. Okay, so wow, I see a lot of people this time around got it right. Okay, 10 people on the VPC flow logs. Oh, that's good. That's good. That's good. Well, let's see who is stopping the charts right now. Let's see if it's going to still be Abdulatif. All right. Okay. Looks like Abdul Latif is still winning. KP second there, and then Malik is right next to KP. All right, let's go on to the third one. A low severity threat in AWS guard duty has a score value between. Let's see who is gonna get this right. Let's see who is gonna get this right. Yes, yes, yes. Let's see. Is it the red team that's gonna win this time around, or the blue team, or the orange team, or the green team? Let's see who is gonna get this. Okay, the answer is slowly trooping in. Well, this looks like it's gonna be fun. One more person and we are good to go. One more person and we are good to go. Oh, has someone dropped out of the race already? Wow, interesting. So I see 9 people got it right this time. Seems that's cool. People are actually following up. That's great. All right, we are going on to the next one. Wow. Ah, Abdul Latif. Wow, we see KP is dusting you on this board. What's happening? SP and Chinel. Nice, nice, nice. Keep it going. All right, we have the fourth question here. What happens when a user suspends the AWS guard duty service? What happens when a user suspends the AWS guard duty service? I'm just imagining who is going to win this one. Who will win this one? Is it going to be Chinel? Would Abdul Latif actually come back leading us, or we KP maintain the championship? Well, let's see how this is going to go. Let's see how this is going to go. Oh, I see the answers are slowly trooping in. Nice. 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 All right. Looks like looks like one person actually dropped out of the race. So we are gonna be having 12 for now. But anyway, this is gonna be fun. Wow. We have a lot of people who went for the existing findings will remain in the console. That was actually a close tie between monitoring is stopped and finding data is moved to to an S3 bucket. Oh, okay. So who is gonna be topping this chart this time around? Let's is gonna be topping the chart this time around. Wow, wow. KP still maintain the championship, followed by SP. Next is Gabriel. All right, let's go on to the next question, or the last question for the day, and let's see who wins this race. An AWS guard duty summary of the finding contains which information? An AWS guard duty summary of the finding contains which information? Let's see who is actually gonna win this race. I have KP and SP actually, both of them, juggling and seeing who is gonna win this. So let's see who actually gets to win this. The final battle is about to be drawn. Wow. And I see we have like a lot of people going for the final answer, which is all these are included in a summary of the findings. Wow, that's great work. That's great work. So let's see who actually wins this trophy. Let's see who wins this trophy. Wow. Wow, we have Gabriel on the third place. We have SP on the second. And the last KP. Yay! And KP has won this final series. Oh, this is nice. Okay, so I don't know if KP has won before, but I mean, your name doesn't actually, tell us who you really are. But of course, the winners are expected to send their full name and email addresses to AWS West Africa at outlook.com. I'm going to be posting this on the chat screen. I'm gonna be posting this on the chat screen. Yes, so please send your full name and email to AWS Sec West Africa at outlook.com. Wow. I hope it was actually an interesting one, and I hope you guys actually enjoyed the session for today. Of course, this is actually going to be continuing. We have the series on Mondays and on Tuesdays, at least for the following weeks. I know we're going to be having another session on Monday and Tuesday next week. So everyone, please stay tuned, and don't hesitate to follow up on this series, and I'm sure you're going to be learning a lot, and of course you'll have the opportunity to win more vouchers. At this time, I know I would love to actually stay longer, share more gifts, share more vouchers, but as time is about gone, or time is just around the corner. I mean, it will be nice if we can all gather together next week and, of course, find a winner for one of our vouchers. So, at this point in time, I'm going to be wishing everyone a great day or a great evening, depending on your location, right? I'm going to be wishing you all um a fantastic week ahead. I mean, keep studying, keep learning to improve your skills and understand more on how it works. And see you all next week. Ensure to follow our channel. If you haven't subscribed, ensure to subscribe. Follow on the Meetup channel and follow us. Also on the YouTube channel, ensure to subscribe, and we will keep you updated with lots of interesting activities to come. Wishing everyone a great evening ahead. Signing out. Bye bye.